Married at First Sight Australia, Episode 17. We're now on to our third commitment ceremony, and in this episode I'm actually going to concentrate on the couples I feel look like they're struggling, rather than going through every single couple. Starting with Booker and Brett. I never thought I'd have to say those names. Booker and Brett. These two started off so well. But the more we see the commitment ceremonies happening, we're starting to see Brett talk about the light and the dark, and how Booker's very intense when it comes to just looking at everything. Very intense. Everything has to be a deep conversation, and he wants to get that balance right. And again, looking at this week's ceremony, we're still in the same place, it looks like to me. From the beginning, I knew Booker had a strong personality compared to Brett. But the further I go into this series, the more I'm seeing it. Brett actually looks unhappy. Not sure what's going on there. Even though he says that Booker's starting to recognise that she's looking at too many of the negatives of the relationship rather than looking at the positives. I'm not too sure whether that's going to be enough to sustain this relationship. He did turn around and say that she herself sees her flaws in regards to her intenseness, and that she needs to lighten up. Also that she needs to stop dwelling on things from the past, things that have probably they've discussed in the past, and that she just keeps bringing back into the relationship and not letting it go. Yeah, she needs to stop that one. It's happening too often, it looks like here, and Brett's not happy about that. So she herself knows she needs to change that pattern. But I do worry, because she's got such a strong personality compared to Brett, whether she's just going to fall back into the same pattern. I just don't know. I'm not sure. At the beginning, like I said, these two look so well together, but now the cracks are starting to form. It's making me a little uncomfortable. Yeah. And then I'm also looking at the new guy that came in, and I'm thinking, he's more your type. But at the same time, would that even go anywhere? Because she's so intense. And Mr. Chris is such a softie. He's not well educated. So he says. So whether them two would have anything in common psychologically, I'm not too sure it would work anyway. Yeah, that's my take anyway. And another thing I've noticed with these two is, even with the dinner party and the commitment ceremonies, I haven't really seen them hold hands like they used to, especially the dinner party. When they walk in, that's something I've noticed. So, as I mentioned, not sure what's going on there. Something's not sitting right. But we're going to have to keep an eye out on that. In conclusion, they both decided to stay. Moving on to our next couple, Alana and Jason. Looking at these two's relationship, I don't know. I've said it from the beginning about Jason. Not saying I don't like him. I just feel there's a playeration about him that doesn't sit right with me. She's looking for a relationship. He's just there. He's just there. He's just taking up valuable space as far as I'm concerned. When I look at these two's relationship, all I see is sex. Once the sex dies, there's nothing left. My opinion hasn't changed. I don't care whether these two get to the end of the series. My opinion is going to stay the same. I don't trust him. I don't think he's there for the right reasons. Alana's trying to make it work. She talked about him being in these moods that he keeps having. It seems to be a regular thing, him having these moods. And he doesn't talk. She doesn't know why he's in a mood. He doesn't tell her anything. That there, to me, is a red flag already. I have no time for that. Don't make me have to second guess. Don't make me have to second guess. That is a big red flag. And then on top of it, when she asked the question about why you're in the mood, you accuse her of nagging. You accuse her of nagging. That to me, I'm sorry, that won't rub. It's not gonna rub. And then you're sitting on the couch, you're sitting on the sofa, and she's saying to you that you were in the mood that morning. And you're looking at her puzzled, like to say, when was I in the mood? You're actually looking at her puzzled. Like you don't know what she's talking about. Stop that nonsense. Stop it. And another thing I've noticed with this couple, I never see them connect, as in they never really sit close to each other. They never touch each other. I don't really see that with these two. He comes across as emotionally unavailable. That's the only word for it. And with that being said, it brings me on to the conversation they were talking about Alana having a higher sex drive than Jason and wanting affection. I don't think it's about sex drive. It's more about affection. Sex doesn't need to be a part of this. If you showed her affection, that there will sustain the relationship in some way. It's not about the sex. You just don't show her any affection whatsoever unless you're having sex. That's the only time you show it. And that's what's wrong. When I think of this couple, I'm sure I've said it before. They remind me of Amy and Josh in Married at First Sight UK. Amy being the touchy-feely type of girl and Josh being emotionally unavailable. That's what I see here. Exactly the same couple. He's used to situationships where there's no feelings involved. Just get the sex and let's get out. That's what I see when I look at him. And I still refer back to when he went out with his boys before he came on the experiment, and one of them called him Peter Pan. The boy that never grew up. That's what I see. Even though he talks about he wants a family, he wants kids, he talks about his nieces, how he loves his nieces, and he wants all of that. He's not ready. He's not ready. And a lot of it, I believe, is because all of his mates are probably married off, got kids, as well as his family's brothers and sisters. I'm presuming he must have got family too. Because he's missing out, he feels he needs that. But mentally, he's not ready. Mentally, he is not ready. He's just jealous of what they've got. But mentally, he is not ready. And when John the matchmaker asked Jason how he felt about Alana, did you see the struggle? Did you see the struggle? I'll say it again. This guy doesn't know about emotions. Oh yeah, we've seen the odd tearful moment when they've been doing their little homework. But really and truly, there's no emotional connection going on here. There is no emotional connection going on here. As Alana said at the beginning, when this experiment started, she seems to get guys that just want her for sex. On the honeymoon, they had sex the first night. That was the downfall there. You wanted things to change. That's where you should have changed the pattern then. You should have found out who this guy was first. Make him wait. Make him wait for the sex. Then you would have seen his true colours. And not be going through this pain that you're going through now. He would have had to give you more at the beginning to show that he was into you. But he didn't have to do anything to work for it. He didn't have to do anything to work for it. And this is where we're at. The honeymoon's over. He's now emotionally unavailable. I don't know what more to say. Anyway, in conclusion, they both decided to stay after all that. But anyway, moving on to one of our new couples, Jamie and Chris. I'm struggling with these two. No. Let me take my words back. I'm struggling with her. I like Chris. Something about him I really like. I like his emotions. He comes across very romantic, as he says. And you can see that. But her? Ooh. Something disturbs me about her. She's putting on this smile, smiling for the cameras. Behind the smile, all is not well. She wants to put on this persona that we've got it all together. We're working on things. No, you're not. I can see he's struggling. Whenever any questions are asked, you can see the emotion in his face. He can't hide that. He can't hide what he's feeling. His face says it all. But her face, ooh, she's a nice queen. Let's put the smile on, put the facade on. We're all good. Let everybody know we're all good. And did you see earlier in the day when the new girls were all having a group discussion about their relationships and they were talking about their partners? She didn't have anything good to say. Well, no, tell a lie. Let me rephrase that. She struggled to find anything good to say about Chris. She struggled. She was stuttering. There was long silences. All of that. Red flag. Red flag, red flag, red flag. She was wasting everyone's time. Did you see when John the matchmaker asked a question? Chris was answering the question, then she butted in. As in to say, oh, if you don't mind, let me take this. He was going to tell the truth. But then she put a shine on it to make it sound good. John the matchmaker isn't falling for your rubbish. He can see right through you. He could see that this wasn't all pretty. It all looked very formal, as he said. I'm not liking this. They're not going to last. I'm going to tell you now. They're not going to last. I'm going to give them maybe a week. 2 weeks at the most. They're not going to last. Mark my words. In conclusion, they both put to stay. Not too sure why. I don't know why you even bothered. You're just wasting people's time. Next on the couch were Joe and James. These two. Where do I begin? Last night's dinner party was a mess. Where do I begin? It started off with James on the couch apologising about his joke last week at the commitment ceremony. So he apologised for that. And then he started waffling on about watching Kerry and Johnny get married and them two trying to rekindle what they had at the beginning, and him trying to put that all into practice, what the matchmakers have told him. But on top of that, Joe turned around and said, but you went missing. And then he tried to say, no, I was here. Something like that. He carried on waffling. Jo got to a point where she couldn't take any more. She turned around and said, "You're full of shit." Everybody stopped. Everybody paid attention. "You're full of shit. Stop your shit." Exactly what she said. "You're full of shit. Stop your shit." In short, Jo repeated everything that we heard at the dinner party last night, to be honest. I'm not going to go through all that again. Nope. And then on the back end of it, she said when it comes to communication, he has a way of twisting everything, twisting it all back around on me. He lies, he redirects conversations, he manipulates situations, and then on top of that, he makes you second guess yourself about your truth. What did I say about that? That is what you call gaslighting. He is a narcissist. I'm going to say it again. He is a narcissist. It was right behind that John intervened. And he repeated what I just said. That is what you call gaslighting. And when John turned around and said, "That's all we saw last night from you, was that type of behaviour at the dinner party," he still couldn't get it. Or he tried to play dumb. Let's put it that way. He played dumb. The next question James asked was, "Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example?" Example? Were you not paying attention to what he just said to you? Nah, this one, he's going to have you going round in circles, just like John said. Deflects, has you going round in circles, all of that nonsense. Make you sound frigging crazy. He's that person. He's a narcissist. He's a gaslighter. I'm not going to say any more on the subject. Before John could even say, "What's your decision?" Jo had already turned around and said, "Leave." She wasn't playing. I don't blame her. Run as fast as you can. Because he's a narcissist. James's answer was also to leave. I'm so glad, because I don't think I could do any more of these two. I'm glad they're gone. Our last couple on the couch were the notorious Bryce and Melissa. Again, we had a rerun of what happened last night in regards to the girlfriend rumour. Yeah, him and Beck again. Oh, I'm not going through that again. No, we're not going to hash that out. I'm going to leave that there. Continuing on, Mel the matchmaker could see that Melissa was hurting. To be honest, we all can. All the matchmakers could, as well as the group. And they really wanted to get to the crunch of things, of what's going on in her head. She turned around and said, she's scared. She's scared of losing people. And she's scared of losing Bryce. She doesn't want somebody to leave her. Did I not say this at the beginning? She will do everything in her power to make sure this works. Because she does not want to lose him. It doesn't matter how much he breaks down her self-esteem. She's going to stay in this and suffer and suffer and suffer. As I said at the beginning, she needs therapy. No word of a lie. She says she hates conflict. She hates confrontation. She doesn't like any of those type of things. And at the same time, Bryce can be wrong, but she'll always support him, no matter what. She doesn't want to argue with him, as she says. We've never had an argument, but she's afraid of, if they do have an argument, that he will leave. What type of relationship is that? What type of relationship is that to be in? That is not a relationship. That's a frigging mess. And him knowing that, he knows he can get away with murder. He knows he can get away with murder. And she'll always stand by his side. Oh, this makes me sick, just thinking about it. It just makes me sick. Ugh. That much control he has. He doesn't have to do anything in this relationship. He doesn't have to do a thing. No effort made whatsoever. He doesn't have to do a thing. She's going to hold on in there no matter what. Oh, this is painful. Painful to watch. We already know what the conclusion was. They both said stay. I can't talk anymore. I'm going to leave it here. If you like what you heard, please like, comment and subscribe. Till next time.